What's up guys, welcome to episode 3 of this episode. This one is going to be mainly normal monolith gameplay up to Lagan, and I've just got some clips included there just to show some interesting parts and when I get a new item and stuff like that. I did just want to mention I am planning on starting a new series where it's going to be in hardcore but not SSF, so this way I can make it more of a longer series rather than a mini series like this where I can only focus on one character. So basically what's going to happen is I will stream this through on Twitch, gather highlights, and then make the episodes like that and upload them onto YouTube. I'm planning on doing it today, and today is the 10th of June, Saturday, as my first one. So hopefully it goes well, and I'll see you in a bit. So I was definitely hoping that I was going to get a woven flesh from Abomination when I killed it, because my crit strike avoidance is very low right now, and it's something I definitely wanted to get maxed at some point during normal monoliths before I went into empowered, but I was feeling quite tanky at this point, so I didn't feel like it mattered too much basically. So this one is definitely the first near rip that I had, where there was 10 winged carrions right next to the map boss, and they all charged at me when I went for him, so that was kind of scary. But mainly I'm just including this clip because I want to know would people prefer it if I included near rips like this and slightly smaller type of moments like this, or if I should keep it exclusively to big item drops, dungeon runs, the boss fights and stuff like that, just so I know what people prefer really. So I just wanted to show this basically. It's the new type of encounter that you can get in the monolith, which is an ambush encounter, which I believe came with 0.9. It's basically where you actually need to clear or quite a few mobs, and then once you clear them, then the map boss comes in and attacks you in an ambush style. So it's kind of like a way to counter the rush to objective meta that had been going on for ages. So it's not perfect, but I guess it does work in that way. So I want to elaborate on what I mentioned in the intro, but just before I do, I just want to show some of the armors that are in the game. These are in-game armors, not MTX or anything, and I think they look sick, especially the Rogue and Beastmaster armor. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what they bring out with the actual ones. But back to what I was saying, my idea is that as I don't have any other hardcore characters and I have no hardcore stash or anything, I feel like it's kind of perfect to start a series basically based on that, where I can have multiple characters with it, they can complement each other. In this one, I've actually dropped a few items that could be useful for other characters, like an Aberrant's Call would be sick for Flame Wraiths. I dropped a Hand of Judgment that can be really nice if I wanted to play a Paladin build, or even, I'm pretty sure I dropped a Death Rattle too, so I mean, they're not amazing or anything, but it's it can be used for other builds and stuff, and I'm kind of interested in doing that as well. I don't want to just be limited to this one character, so I want to keep this as a mini series just to see how far I can get in an SSF style, but then I also want that as well basically. So this way I can have both going, and this one I feel can be interesting as a longer style series, especially then, as then if one character dies, it's a massive rip moment, but there's always another one I can bounce back onto. But that's basically the idea with it. So I'm just going to show the first Abomination fight here in the background. It fight went alright, apart from it was a tiny bit sketchy when going into soul chambers, just as my damage is a bit ZDPS, but it was okay. We managed to kill him and everything, don't worry. I just want to mention again, just relating back to the previous topic as I was talking about, it's a very rambly episode, sorry about that, but it's how I want to do the Twitch highlights into an episode. So in the first episode I had live and post commentary both side by side basically at certain points, and I want to go back to doing it like that, not how I've been doing it in episode 2 and 3 where it's entirely post commentary, mainly because like there might be moments that like are interesting and I just did not happen to record, or like, you know, especially with rip clips I wanted to include more of them, but because like you're only getting my post commentary, it's not nearly as interesting for a rip clip obviously than the genuine reaction that happened during that point. So I want to go back to doing both live and post, and I feel like if I stream it on Twitch I can give a better like reaction to it, and on top of that it will be easier for me to talk rather than just talking like for a YouTube video for it basically. That's the plan. No woven flesh, so that's a big rip, but it's not too bad because we're about like 47% crit strike avoid now, and we're about to get like new armors that we can equip, especially like the helmet and stuff that gives us crit strike avoid innately built into it as a base, so that's alright. A worry that I had that was just going to progressively get worse as we played was the monolith modifiers, and especially as we're a hit crit based build, it's gonna really suck, you know, when we get modifiers like glancing, blow chance, dodge chance, crit strike avoidance, and things like that. And before 0.9 there was a bug that I'm sad to say I did use it a lot, a bug where if you opened your portal before you completed the monolith, you would not get these yikes modifiers. So you could kind of just like click on any monolith, it wouldn't matter because you would only have that modifier just for one monolith, right? You wouldn't have it for like 5 or 6 as you tend to have when you start to push corruption a little bit. So it wasn't too bad, but this got patched with 0.9, and now you actually need to be careful like which ones you choose, and I'm kind of worried how I'm going to do this in hardcore, but yeah. So this bug kind of seems like one that's kind of been there forever in the Black Sun monolith, and it's not in the final boss one, but in the one right before the final boss when you're completing the echoes. And what happens is the indicator is showing that, okay, this is where the mobs are going to spawn out, because they spawn in like waves and you clear them, and then finally the boss comes in and you clear him to finish it. But then the indicators are either stuck on an area that you've already finished, or they're indicating somewhere that the mobs are going to spawn later after you clear another pack, and it's just kind of annoying. So we're going into the Black Sun monolith here now, the final quest echo, and this one is actually, like, this monolith in general I think is probably one of the best ones like for farming, just because of like the insane items that can drop from it. As like a boss drop he has atrophy, which is obviously insane, and it's like a common drop too, so you can get LP for it. And then I think this is a new item that's like they added to his drop pool, the Confluence of Fate. It's a rare drop, but it's really nice because it's got less damage over time taken, and that's kind of like a rare implicit to have. So it's like pretty insane. And even on top of that, the exclusive Echo rewards, because it has unique helmets, this is the best place to farm for the squirrel helmet. And on top of that you can also get other stuff, like if you're playing wolves, then you've got like the Artor's one, which is nice, and then you've also got the insane items like Bastion of Honor. This is probably like the best one to farm because it also has unique shield echoes. So it's just like overall a really really good echo to farm. And like I've fought this boss so many times, but like when I have fought him, it's always usually been in, always of course in empowered monoliths, and then like with an optimized build and everything. So I was kind of worried because I knew what attacks he has and stuff, and he definitely does have one-shot potential, but overall I think we did alright in this fight and it went pretty well overall.
changes anything. This world is all.
After I had swapped off Glacier, the game decided to just throw plus to Glacier items at me, so that was kind of funny. Level 64 is a big milestone for us because it allows us to equip crystal swords, so we're going to get a really big power spike now, which is good. So you might be wondering why we're back and doing Abomination again. We've already cleared it. We should be beelining it straight to finishing all the normal ones so that we can get to empowered monoliths. Now normally this is exactly what I would do. There is no point like farming or like staying long in normal monoliths. You want to get to empowered as soon as possible, and you always want to go down the right side of the monoliths too, because it's like character boosting rather than just item drops, which is on the left. But the thing is, because it was my first time doing hardcore, I was kind of worried about like, am I gonna go too fast into something that's definitely gonna get me killed? And when I was looking through to see what are the next potential upgrades for the build, the Shattered Lance, right, the set item, it actually drops from the monolith on the left hand side, and it is actually a 50% chance to drop that item from Argentus, the final quest echo boss. So we've made it to the final quest cove to fight Argentus to try get our Shattered Lance. Now, even though it has a high drop chance, the other item that has a high drop chance is the relic item to complete the set, and there was a chance that I was going to drop this too, and if that did happen, I didn't know if I should then, you know, go through this whole echo again, like this whole timeline again, to try and chance it basically, or if I should just like leave this, you know, go on, just progress your monoliths, get to empowered and stuff. So as you can see, by the end of it, I did get very unlucky and got the relic only, nothing else. So I decided, you know what, it's just one, I'm going to try one more time to try and chance it basically. So here we have round 2 with Argentus, and I'm just going to spoil through while I'm speaking, but I'm going to let the fight play out in the background. But we got insanely lucky in this fight, just absolutely insanely lucky, because not only did we drop the Shattered Lance, which is what I came for, we somehow managed to also drop a Throne of Ambition. Now, I was not expecting that at all, and then I went and checked on Last Epoch tools, and it's listed as a rare drop, so getting it on a normal monolith, right, is absolutely insane. Like, I thought to get this, because it's listed as like an item that we definitely want in our idle slot, and I was gonna think I'm gonna have to spend ages farming for this and empowered, right, to get it, because it's just such a big boost when we're fighting bosses, right? Both in terms of survivability and damage, because we've got armor, and then we have the cold damage too, which is just mind-blowing. But yes, absolutely insane that we got this, and this is just another huge power spike that we're gonna get now basically, so I'm actually super hyped now for this character. So this is actually the next day in the morning. I thought I would just get a tiny bit of extra farming done, you know. I could maybe not only include Lagan then, because I'm literally like right before the quest echo, like having enough stability to do it, but I thought, you know, as I've like progressed here quite quickly, I could maybe just quickly include some of the other timelines too. And then what happened was I went to go fight a Shade of Orbis. And I fought like quite a few before. I fought like 4 or 5 already on this character, and it was completely fine. And I thought, you know, let's just do one more. It's going to give me like 80 stability, you know, it's a lot to make. And then I don't need to do 2 more echoes now. I can just do this, and then I can just go and fight Lagan. And I was completely ready for it and everything. And what happened was, he had this was such an insignificant fight, as I was just clearing echoes that I didn't even bother recording That's why all I've got is the end screen here. But what happened was he had ground degen on the ground, and even though I had ward built up, the ground degen just reduced my ward entirely, because as I happened to do it, my mana was gone, so I was just using Mana Strike to get it back, so I wasn't building up any ward. And on top of that, he launched his Meteor, and I thought I had enough ward and health to tank it, but the ground degen had just deleted my ward, so all I had was my 1k health, and he just killed me. So yeah, feels bad, man. So yes, as I mentioned earlier in the video, now that this character has ripped basically, I am going to be starting a new series, but this time rather than with SSF it's just going to be hardcore, so I can utilize multiple characters for this and have like, multiple goals can be set, and I can also turn this into like something easier that I can stream to basically, and I think it's going to turn out well. Either way, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.